The company Slack channel was on fire. Liam, your wife must be loaded. Dropped 8 condos on Marcus Thorne, just like that. What, you didn't know? She wired him $500,000 for spending money, too. Is Liam insane? Who spoils their wife that much? I stared at my phone, then glanced at the t-shirt Chloe had bought me yesterday. A quick search on Amazon found it, $15.99 for a 3-pack, free shipping with Prime. I remembered her wrapping her arms around my neck last night, whispering, "Honey, I love you to my bones," and a wave of nausea hit me. I didn't reply in the channel. I just quietly left the group. The dark screen of my phone reflected my ashen face. "Honey, I bought you a new shirt, try it on." Last night, Chloe's smile was radiant as she pulled a plain white t-shirt from a shopping bag. See? Simple, elegant. It's so you. So simple it was part of a 3-pack from Amazon for less than $20. I smiled, took it, and said thank you. She stood on her toes, gave me a peck on the cheek, and draped herself over me, whining playfully, "You're so good to me, baby. I could just die. I love you so much. I love you to my bones." Thinking back, the sweetness of that moment was a bitter irony. I opened my laptop and logged into our online banking. As a married couple, we knew each other's passwords. Or rather, I had given her all of mine. As for her account, password incorrect. I took a deep breath and tried a few other common combinations. All incorrect. Interesting. In 5 years of marriage, when had she ever changed her password? I walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, gazing out at the forest of skyscrapers in the loop. Marcus Thorne's office was in the tallest one over there. At the company's annual gala last month, he was all buddy-buddy, slapping me on the back and saying our law firm had won some major cases for his corporation and he owed me big time. Chloe was right beside me then, holding my arm, her smile the picture of a gentle, devoted wife. Looking back, I wondered if there was a hint of triumph hidden in that smile. I started paying attention to Chloe's every move. "Honey, this new project at work is insane. I'm probably going to be working late a lot," she said, her head resting on my shoulder, her voice a soft purr. I murmured a quiet, hum, my fingers stroking her long, silky hair. "That's tough. You want me to pick you up at night?" No, she said quickly. "Someone from the project team will give me a ride. You're busy too, honey. Don't worry about me." "The project team?" "Marcus Thorne's project team," I presumed. I nodded. "All right, just be safe." She snuggled deeper into my arms. "You're the best." Late that night, I lay in bed, listening to the sound of the shower running. Chloe was washing up. She'd gotten home after 11 again. My phone vibrated on the nightstand. I reached for it. An unknown number. "Mr. Miller, sorry to bother you so late. This is Kevin from Thorne Real Estate. I was the client side rep on that case you won for us, remember?" "I remember. What is it?" "Well," he hesitated. "I know this is out of line, but I felt you should know. This afternoon, I was at the cafe across from the Aeon Center, and I saw Mr. Thorne with your wife." My stomach dropped. Oh, they were probably discussing work. Well, it didn't really look like it. They were sitting very close, and Mr. Thorne was smiling. And he was holding her hand. I was silent for a few seconds. "Thank you for telling me." I hung up. The sound of the shower continued. I closed my eyes, replaying the oddities of the last few months. The frequent overtime, the mysterious project meetings, the changed bank password, the gradual decline in our intimacy, the way she'd ramped up the intensity of her "love you to my bones" declarations whenever we were close. It turned out these were all pieces of the truth. The bathroom door opened. Chloe walked out, wrapped in a towel, water dripping from the ends of her hair. She hopped on a bed and rolled into my arms. "God, I'm so exhausted today, honey." I held her. "Oh yeah? Rough day at the office." "It was fine. Just in the final stages of the project, so it's super busy." She burrowed into the crook of my neck. "Marcus is really demanding." I gently stroked her back. "Marcus seems to treat you pretty well, though, right?" Her body tensed for a fraction of a second before relaxing again. "He's fine, I guess. It's just a normal boss employee thing." I said nothing more, just held her a little tighter. "Your heart really does beat faster when you lie, doesn't it, Chloe?" The next morning, I called my most trusted private investigator. "Sully, I need you to run a tale." "Who's the target?" "My wife." The line went quiet for a few seconds. "Liam, you sure about this?" "Positive. I want her movements for the last month. Focus on any contact with Marcus Thorne." "You got it. But Liam, you need to be prepared. These kinds of jobs, the results are rarely good." I gave a bitter laugh. "I know, but it's better than being kept in the dark." After the call, I logged into the county's property records database. One of the perks of being a lawyer is having access to all sorts of information channels. It didn't take long to find the records for those 8 properties. All of them were condos in the best downtown high-rises, each one worth millions. and all of them had been transferred from Chloe's name to a company called Thorn Holdings within the last 3 months. Thorn Holdings? I scoffed. Marcus, you couldn't even be bothered to come up with a better disguise. Chloe was a senior executive at a real estate firm. She'd saved a good amount over the years. But 8 luxury condos were a massive expense, far beyond what she could afford alone. I remembered her mother letting it slip at her birthday party last year that she had set aside a few properties for her daughter. It seemed Chloe had used them all to win Marcus's favor. But that wasn't all. There was still the matter of the $500,000 wire transfer. I picked up my phone and saw a new text from Chloe. Honey, another meeting today, probably going to be a late one. Don't wait up for me, just go to bed. Right? A meeting. I texted back. Okay, be safe. You work too hard. Putting the phone down, I opened the safe. I pulled out her marriage certificate, property deeds, and bank statements. For 5 years, I had made it a habit to carefully review any document that needed my signature. It was professional instinct. But with Chloe, it seemed my guard was always down. And there it was. Large portions of our joint assets had been quietly moved, and I hadn't noticed a thing. Even now, she was still putting on a show, buying me $15, 99 t-shirts, and whispering in my ear how much she loved me to her bones. I let out a cold laugh and sent a text to Sully. Let me know the second you have something. At 11 that night, Chloe came home. She smelled faintly of alcohol and looked a little flustered when she saw I was still awake. Honey, why are you still up? Waiting for you, I said with a smile. I missed you. She visibly relaxed and threw herself into my arms. Stop it. You're making me blush. I held her, catching the faint, almost imperceptible scent of a man's cologne in her hair. How's the project going? It's fine, Marcus said. She stopped abruptly, correcting herself. The whole team is working really hard. I gently stroked her hair. Well, my wife is the best one on it. She nuzzled against me. I love you, honey. I really do. I love you to my bones. I closed my eyes, my heart feeling like it was being twisted by a knife. The next day at noon, Sully called. Liam, you in a place where you can talk? I glanced at my office door. I am. Go ahead. I got pictures. You want me to send them? I took a deep breath. Send them. My phone buzzed as a series of photos came through. Chloe and Marcus in a coffee shop. Chloe and Marcus at a high-end restaurant. Chloe and Marcus in a hotel lobby. Chloe and Marcus wrapped in an embrace as they entered an elevator. Chloe and Marcus. In the final photo, Chloe was wearing a sexy slip dress, kneeling on a large leather sofa. Marcus stood before her, looking down at her imperiously. The picture was taken from outside, but through the panoramic window, it was clear what was happening. Liam, I've got video too. You want it? No, that's enough. My voice was unervingly calm. When was this taken? Yesterday afternoon, from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Location was the Langham, Chicago. Room 2088. I laughed. I see. No wonder she had a meeting that ran so late. Liam, I'm sorta, Mum. Thanks, I said. Do me one more favor. Find out when they first met. On it. Hanging up, I leaned back in my chair and stared at the ceiling. So this was the truth. I picked up my phone and texted Chloe. Honey, what do you want for dinner tonight? I'll pick you up after work. She replied almost instantly. I'm so sorry, baby, I have to work late again. I smiled. Is the project that busy? Yeah, Marcus says we have to get it done this month. I nodded to myself. Okay, well, make sure you get some rest. I love you. I love you too. To my bones. Kiss emoji. I put the phone down, opened a drawer, and pulled out a stack of documents. It was the case file for Thorn Real Estate's last project with our firm. Details I hadn't paid much attention to a month ago were now glaringly obvious. Like these property deeds. Like these financial flows. Like this shell company called Thorn Holdings. I shook my head and made a call. Frank, I need you to pull all the corporate filings on a company for me. And while you're at it, set up a meeting with Detective Russo over at the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit. Tell him it's urgent. Just as I hung up, another text came in from Sully. Got it, Liam. They first met 4 months ago during a project pitch. But it looks like things got personal about 3 months ago. 3 months ago? I thought back. I was buried in a massive trial then, working around the clock. Chloe had said she felt bad that I was so stressed and offered to take over managing our finances. What thoughtful wife. Do you have a specific date? I asked. March 15 th. Marcus took the project team out for dinner. Your wife had too much to drink, and he drove her home. After that, they started contacting each other constantly. Liam, you sure you don't want the pictures? I'm sure, I said. Thanks. March 15 th. I was out of town on business that day. Before I left, I'd specifically told her, be safe and don't drink too much. She had smiled and said, don't worry, honey. I know my limits. Limits. I opened the safe and pulled out the bank statements. Just as I suspected, the asset transfers began on March 16th. First, she moved her own money. Then, the properties her mother had left her. Finally, she started draining our joint accounts. All the while, the money she spent on me grew less and less. It went from designer t-shirts that cost a few $100s to the current $15.99 3-packs from Amazon. But the words she used to tell me she loved me, those just got more and more dramatic. Honey, you're the best. Honey, I can't live without you. Honey, I love you to my bones. Pathetic. I picked up my phone and sent Chloe one last text. Okay, honey, get some rest and come home early. She replied in seconds. I will, baby. Can't wait to come home and kiss you. I looked at the message, a cold smirk playing on my lips. Just you wait. A reckoning is coming, and we'll settle this score piece by piece. I began gathering evidence. Quietly, methodically, Chloe continued her sweet talk routine every day, and I played my part as the loving, devoted husband. On the surface, we were the perfect, happy couple. She would occasionally post some sentimental drivel on Instagram about loving me to her bones, and our friends would flood the comments with envious praise. Only I knew whose chat was pinned to the top of her message list. Marcus Thorne, her good boss. Today was Saturday. Chloe said she had a company retreat, and I didn't bother to call her out on the lie. I was home alone, organizing the files I'd collected. Property deeds, bank statements, wire transfer records, security footage, hotel receipts. The irony was crushing. As a lawyer, gathering evidence was my specialty. I just never imagined I'd one day use these skills to investigate my own wife. Did you know, Chloe? Every time you and Marcus checked into a hotel, the security cameras recorded everything. Did you really think changing your hairstyle and wearing sunglasses would hide who you were? You severely underestimated your lawyer husband. Wasn't my professional competence what you fell in love with all those years ago? The doorbell rang. I glanced at the clock. 8 p.m. Chloe wouldn't be back this early. Her retreats with Marcus usually lasted until after midnight. I opened the door. It was our neighbor, Mrs. Gable. Liam, she said, hesitating. I feel like I should tell you something. Please, Mrs. Gable, come in. It's just. She lowered her voice. I've been seeing a man drop Chloe off lately. He drives a very expensive car. Looks like some kind of executive. I managed to smile. Ah, yes, that's her boss. They're swamped with a project right now. Oh, is that it? Mrs. Gable seemed relieved, but still a little worried. It's just that Liam, the man, he didn't seem very nice to her. A knot formed in my stomach. What do you mean? Well, she looked uncomfortable. The other night, I was walking my dog, and I saw them arguing in his car. The man was saying something like, why haven't you taken care of what you promised? And Chloe was just sobbing. I nodded slowly. Thank you for letting me know, Mrs. Gable. After she left, I sank onto the sofa and closed my eyes. So that's what it was. Marcus was trying to launch a major new development and needed a massive infusion of capital. Chloe had already given him every asset she could liquidate, but it wasn't enough. He was pressuring her to get more. And she was probably trying to figure out how to squeeze another lump sum out of me. Unbelievable. At 11 p.m., Chloe came home. Her eyes were red and swollen. She had clearly been crying. Honey. The moment she walked in, she collapsed into my arms, her voice choked with sobs. I'm so tired. I held her, gently patting her back. What's wrong? Trouble at work? Yeah, she mumbled, rubbing her face against my shoulder. The company's working on a huge project, and we're short on funding. Marcus said if we can't pull it off, the whole team is going to be penalized. I said deliberately, I could have a word with Marcus for you. We've been business partners for years. No. She shook her head frantically. I can handle it. Honey, could you lend me some money? How much? $1 million. She said, watching my face carefully. I'll pay you back, I swear. You can treat it as a loan. I stroked her hair. That's a lot of money. I'll have to see what I can move around. Give me a few days to think about it. Okay. She lowered her head, her voice even more pathetic. You're the best, honey. I love you so much. I know, I said with a thin smile. You love me to your bones, right? She nodded emphatically. Yes, I love you more than anyone. I looked at her pitiful, tear-streaked face and was suddenly tempted to ask, do you have any idea how much I made this month? That big case I won last month came with a $20 million bonus for the firm. My cut was $5 million. It's sitting in a private account you know nothing about. Chloe had been on edge lately. She was constantly playing the role of the good wife in front of me. She'd cut up fruit for me, give me massages, and even initiate intimacy. But every time I held her, I could feel that her mind was somewhere else. Her phone would buzz incessantly on the nightstand, and she'd always find an excuse to take the call on the balcony. I knew who it was. Marcus was under a lot of pressure. I'd heard his new project was on the verge of collapse. $1 million was a drop in the bucket for him, but now he was desperate enough that he couldn't even wait for that. Today, Chloe came to me about the loan again. Honey, have you had a chance to think about it? She cooed, pressing herself against me. I'm in a real bind. I wrapped my arm around her. Can you tell me exactly what this money is for? It's for the company project, she said, blinking her wide, innocent eyes. Already told you, remember? I need more specifics. Well, she stammered, it's a trade secret. I can't say. I laughed. Fair enough. By the way, honey, I'm working on a new case. It involves Thorn Real Estate. Her body went rigid. What kind of case? Ever heard of a company called Thorn Holdings? Her hand began to tremble. And no, it's a shell corporation, I said slowly. Someone filed an anonymous tip that Marcus is using it to launder money. A pretty significant amount, too. Looks like tens of millions. What? She struggled to maintain her composure. No way. Marcus isn't that kind of person. You think so? I leaned down and kissed her forehead. Well, that's good to hear. She leaned against my chest, her heart hammering against her ribs. That night, I pretended to be asleep. As expected, she quietly slipped out of bed and took her phone into the bathroom. Hello, Marcus, she whispered. We have a problem. My husband. I lay there with my eyes closed, a cold smile spreading across my face. Did you really think I was just trying to scare you, Chloe? You're so naive. The next morning, I got a call from Detective Russo at the FBI. We've got him, he said. The books for Thorn Holdings are a mess. It's all here. Marcus is going down. Good, I said. When are you moving in? We're going to wait until he gets his hands on that project funding. He's been scrambling for cash, right? Let's let him hang himself with a little more rope. I smiled. Sounds like a plan. Thanks for everything. After hanging up, I opened my laptop and sent an email to Marcus Thorn. Marcus, I heard you were looking for capital. My wife and I discussed it, and we'd like to offer you a $1 million loan. Consider it a favor for all our years of partnership. Want to discuss it this afternoon? He replied almost immediately. Liam, you're a lifesaver. 3 p.m. The usual place. I closed the laptop and dialed Chloe's number. Honey, good news. I've figured it out. I've scheduled a meeting with Marcus this afternoon to inject the capital into your project. There was a long silence on the other end. Honey, you're the best. Of course, I said. By the way, you should come too. It's your company's project, after all. I have a meeting this afternoon. Postpone it, I said gently. This is $1 million we're talking about. Don't you want to be there in person? Okay. After I hung up, I opened a drawer and pulled out a stack of files. The evidence I had been compiling for a month. Chloe, you always said you loved me to your bones. Today, let's find out exactly what's hidden in those bones of yours. At 3 p.m., I arrived at the cafe across from the Aeon Center. This was Marcus's favorite place to do business. It was also one of the spots where he met Chloe for their trysts. I picked a table by the window and ordered an Americano. At 3:05, Marcus walked in. He was dressed in a sharp suit, his expression confident. He looked nothing like a man on the brink of financial ruin. Liam, he smiled and shook my hand. Good to see you. You too, Marcus. I smiled back. You're looking well. He shrugged. Doing okay. Just a little cash flow problem with a new project. So, I've heard, I said. That's why I wanted to help. You're a true friend, Liam. He poured himself a glass of water. So, where's Chloe? I figured she'd be here. I watched his deliberately casual expression. How did you know I asked her to come? He paused for a second, then laughed. Just a guess. It's your money as a couple, right? She'd naturally want to be involved. Is that so? I slowly pulled a thick file from my briefcase. I thought maybe you wanted to ask if she'd finally told me the truth. His smile froze on his face. What truth? Marcus, I'm a lawyer, I said. My entire profession is built on finding evidence. His expression began to darken. What's that supposed to mean, Liam? It means exactly what it sounds like. I pushed the file across the table toward him. I have the complete financials for Thorn Holdings. Care to take a look? His hand started to shake. You, don't be nervous, Marcus, I said with a smile. I found some even more interesting things. For example, the source of those 8 condos. And say, the records for a certain $500,000 wire transfer. He shot to his feet. Liam, we could talk about this. Oh, we're definitely going to talk, I said, my voice still calm and even. But shouldn't we wait for Chloe to join us? Just as he was about to speak, a woman's voice came from behind him. Honey. We both turned. Chloe stood there, her face as white as a sheet. You made it, I said with a smile. Have a seat. I was just about to ask Marcus here when you were planning on telling me the truth. Tears instantly welled in her eyes. Honey, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. Wrong about what? I asked. She glanced at Marcus, then started sobbing harder. I betrayed you. I know, I said, but I want to hear it from you. Marcus and I. That's enough. I cut her off. We can skip that part. What I'm more interested in is, where did all our money go? She looked at me in horror. You know everything. I nodded, including the properties your mother left you. She was trembling uncontrollably. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't be in such a hurry to apologize. I turned to Marcus. Marcus, don't you think you owe me an explanation as well? How exactly do you plan on paying back all that money? Marcus took a deep breath. Liam, let's be reasonable. This whole thing, it was a moment of weakness. Weakness? I laughed. You slept with my wife, conned her out of our life savings, and you're calling it a moment of weakness? But you know what? It's fine. I pulled out my phone. There are some people who are very eager to meet you. He looked at me, confused. The next second, the door to our private room was pushed open. 2 FBI agents walked in. Marcus Thorne, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering, and embezzlement. You need to come with us. The color drained from his face. No, that's impossible. Chloe shrieked. Marcus, you promised you'd take care of this. You promised you'd protect me. Marcus shot her a look of pure hatred. Shut your mouth. This is all your fault, you stupid bitch. I watched the scene unfold with cold detachment. So, this is who you both really are. Marcus was escorted out by the agents. Chloe collapsed in her chair, sobbing hysterically. Honey, please forgive me. I know I was wrong. I really do. I shook my head. It's too late. No. She lunged forward and grabbed my legs. I love you. I really do. I love you to my bones. I let out a cold, harsh laugh. Do you? Were the 8 condos, the $500,000 in cash, and our entire savings account also because you loved me? Her cries grew louder. I was mesmerized. Marcus promised me a better life. So, you decided to throw away years of our life together? No, that's not it. She looked up, her face a mess of tears and makeup. My love for you is real. You just what? I looked down at her. You just wanted to buy me a $15 t-shirt to prove how much you love me? She flinched as if I'd slapped her. Chloe, do you know what the most ironic part of all this is? I said, enunciating every word. It's that if you had just asked me for the money, I would have given it to you without a second thought. Because I actually loved you. She covered her face, her body racked with painful sobs. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't bother. I pulled another set of documents from my briefcase. These are the divorce papers. Sign them. No. She shook her head wildly. I don't want a divorce. I love you. I really love you. I stared at her. Then let me ask you a question. When was the first time you and Marcus slept together? Her body went still. March 15th, right? I said. The day I was on a business trip. You got drunk, and he drove you home. She said nothing. And from that day forward, you started transferring assets, I continued. First your money, then your mother's properties, and finally our joint accounts. Was that also because you loved me? She lowered her head, tears dripping onto the floor. Sign the papers, I said, or I will go to your parents and tell them everything. She recoiled. Then her hand trembled as she reached for the pen. And this, I produced another document. This is a public statement of apology. You're going to read it in front of the media. She looked at me, her eyes wide with terror. No, please don't. It's not negotiable, I said coldly. You love posting about us on social media, right? This time, I'm going to let everyone see just how much you really love me. She was crying so hard, she looked like she might pass out. I know I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance. A chance? I laughed. Chloe, when did you ever give me a chance? 3 days later, the story was everywhere. Real estate magnate Marcus Thorne arrested for a string of financial crimes totaling hundreds of millions. His mistress, my ex-wife Chloe Vance, delivered a tearful public apology at a press conference. I, Chloe Vance, shamelessly betrayed a husband who loved me deeply. For money, I sold my body and stole our joint assets. I am guilty, I am worthless, and I do not deserve forgiveness. The camera flashes were relentless. The gut-wrenching scene quickly went viral. Hashtag billionaire mistress, hashtag $15 t-shirt, hashtag love to my bones. The internet pieced together the entire sordid affair. Oh my God, she gave all her husband's money to her lover. That's disgusting. Her husband was so good to her, and she bought him a cheap Amazon t-shirt. What a tramp. The worst part is how she was always posting on Instagram about loving him to her bones. Makes me sick. Team husband. He played this perfectly. Chloe was at the center of a firestorm. Her company fired her. Her friends ghosted her. When her parents learned the truth, They both collapsed and were rushed to the hospital. As for Marcus, he had already turned on her completely. "I was manipulated by that woman," he shouted in court. "She seduced me. She came onto me. She told me she didn't love her husband, that he was a loser, and begged me to give her a better life." Chloe was on the verge of a complete breakdown. She called and texted me relentlessly, saying she knew she was wrong, begging for forgiveness, saying she really loved me to her bones. I blocked her number. At the firm, my colleagues looked at me with pity. "Liam, we're so sorry. You didn't deserve this, man. You'll find someone better." I just smiled. "It's fine. I didn't walk away with nothing. At least I got all the stolen assets back, right?" And it was true. I didn't just get all my money back. I had destroyed Marcus Thorne. His big project collapsed. His company went bankrupt, the stock price plummeted, and creditors came knocking. It was all over. Marcus awaited his trial from a jail cell. Chloe awaited hers in the court of public opinion. And I handed over years of evidence to the authorities. I let them pay the price for their choices. So this, I thought, was the price of loving someone to the bones. 3 months later, Marcus was sentenced to 15 years. In addition to embezzlement and fraud, the prosecution uncovered a long history of him using similar tactics to manipulate women and swindle them out of their money. Chloe was just his latest victim, and his dumbest. At the sentencing, Marcus wept and confessed, "I am guilty. I was blinded by greed and committed so many crimes." As he spoke, his eyes darted around nervously. Even the judge could see he was putting on an act. Chloe sat at the defendant's table, so thin she looked like a skeleton. She was sentenced to 3 years, with 5 years of probation. It was a light sentence, all things considered. It was her first offense. She had returned the stolen funds, and her remorse was deemed genuine. The day the verdict came down, she rushed over to me. "Honey, can you please?" I walked right past her. She felt her knees on the courthouse steps, wailing. "Liam, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I wasn't thinking straight. I love you. I really, really love you." People stared and pointed at her. I walked away without a backward glance. "This is your love me to my bones, Chloe?" Pathetic. 6 months later, I ran into Chloe at the coffee shop downstairs from my office. She looked haggard, but she had made an effort to dress up. When she saw me, she looked flustered. Liam." I glanced at her and turned to leave. "Wait," she called out. Can we talk? Just for 5 minutes." I stopped. "What is it?" "Nothing. She looked down at the floor. "I just wanted to see you." I sneered. "See me for what? Need more money?" She flinched. "No, I just really miss you." "Oh," I said. "I wonder what Marcus would think if he heard you say that. Wouldn't want to hurt his feelings." "Don't mention him," she suddenly snapped, her voice trembling with rage. "I hate him. He tricked me." "He tricked you." I laughed. "Chloe, stop playing the victim. You and I both know who tricked who." She bit her lip. "I know I was wrong. I really do. I've spent every day of the last 6 months regretting what I did, thinking about you. And I want to ask for your forgiveness." She looked up, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Can you give me another chance? Can we start over?" "Start over?" I stared at her coldly. "What on earth makes you think I would ever forgive you?" Because I love you," she sobbed. "I really love you to my bones." Bam! I slammed my hand on the table. Everyone in the coffee shop jumped. "Chloe, for the love of God, that's enough." I hissed, my voice low and dangerous. "You still have the nerve to say you love me?" She started crying harder. "But I mean it." "You mean it?" I scoffed. "Did you mean it when you were wiring all my money to Marcus? Did you mean it when you were buying me a $15 t-shirt? Did you mean it when you were in bed with him, telling him I was a loser?" She was shaking violently. You knew." "Of course I knew," I said. "Why do you think I waited so long to spring the trap? I want to see just how shameless you two could be." She sank in her chair, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Don't bother," I said, standing up. "You don't deserve to say that to me." She grabbed the hem of my jacket. "Please, give me one more chance." I shook her hand off. "You know, Chloe, for the past 6 months, I've been thinking about one question over and over." She looked up at me. "I keep wondering if you were like this from the very beginning. Did you use your tears, your body, and your sweet words to trick me into trusting you all those years ago?" "No," she cried. "Back then, it was real. Our 5 years together, every single day, was real. It was just these last few months." "Enough," I cut her off. "I don't want to hear your excuses, and I don't ever want you to come looking for me again." "No." She lunged and wrapped her arms around my legs. "Please forgive me. I don't want anything. I just want your forgiveness." I looked down at her with cold eyes. "Let me ask you this. If Marcus was a free man right now, Would you be here begging for my forgiveness? Her body went rigid. You wouldn't, I said. You'd still be with him, living your happy life, playing your little games with me, and telling me you love me to your bones. She let go, her arms falling limply to her sides. You don't love me, Chloe, I said, turning to leave. You just hate that Marcus couldn't give you the life you wanted. From behind me, I heard her heart-wrenching screams. That's not true. It's not. I really love you. I swear. I didn't look back. From the beginning to the end, the only thing you ever loved was money. I was just a safe bet you kept on the side. 1 year later, I met my current wife through a friend. She's a doctor, kind, gentle, and most importantly, genuine. We got married quickly. On our wedding day, she gave me a t-shirt. It was from my favorite designer brand and cost over $1,000. She looked at me sheepishly. Honey, my salary isn't that high. This was the best I could do. I leaned in and kissed her. You're silly. It's perfect. She rested her head on my chest. I love you. I smiled. Just don't say you love me to your bones. She looked at me, confused. I shook my head. Just saying you love me is enough. Real love doesn't need all the fancy words. She nodded, a hint of understanding in her eyes. The wedding ceremony was going perfectly. Right until we were about to exchange rings, there was a sudden commotion. Chloe, reeking of alcohol and with her makeup smeared, had somehow managed to burst in. And oh, she screamed, don't get married. He's mine. He's my husband. Security guards rushed to intercept her. She fought like a wild animal. Honey, look at me. I've lost weight. I have a good job now. I could buy you expensive clothes. Please, just come back to me. The venue descended into chaos. My bride hid behind me, her eyes wide with fear. I took her hand. It's okay. And I walked toward Chloe. When she saw me, she immediately lunged for me. Honey, you're finally talking to me again. I missed you so much. I took a step back and said coldly, Security, get this lunatic out of here. She burst into tears. No, don't make me leave. I love you. I love you to my bones. I looked at her. You know, Chloe, every time you say that, it makes me want to throw up. She froze. Because your bones are filled with the stench of money. She crumpled to the floor. The guards dragged her out. I walked back to my bride and took her hand. I'm sorry you had to see that. She shook her head. It's okay. Are you okay? I smiled. I'm great. Because I know that this time, I've found someone who truly understands what love is. I heard later that Chloe went to visit Marcus in prison. He just screamed at her. Get out. This is all your fault. You fucking bitch. She broke down completely. You promised you'd take care of me. You promised you'd give me everything. Marcus laughed coldly. You promised you loved your husband to your bones. How'd that work out for you? After that, Chloe lost her mind. They say she wanders the streets now, and whenever she sees a man in a suit, she runs up to him, calling him honey. Her parents tried to have her committed, but she just cries and says, no, I have to find my husband. I have to buy him expensive clothes. I love him. I love him to my bones. I was cleaning out my study when I heard this. Our new house is twice the size of the old one, but it costs less because it's not downtown. My wife says the size of the house doesn't matter. What matters is that we're together. I nodded in agreement. Yes, being together is all that matters. She wrapped her arms around me from behind. Honey, do you think maybe we should go see your ex-wife? It sounds so sad. I turned and kissed her. No, she chose her own punishment. She rested her head on my chest. Were all those condos and all that money really that important? I shook my head. To her, I guess they were important enough to destroy the most valuable thing she had. She was quiet for a moment. So what's most important to us? I held her tighter. Whatever you care about is what's most important. I care about you, she said. Then you're what's most important to me. The sun streamed through the window, bathing us in its light. Warm and beautiful, just like life was now.